Welcome to the inaugural first episode of the Double D podcast. My name is Derek. This is my best friend and co-host Dalton, and we're here to talk everything we can about sports life and everything in between. It's the first episode, like I said, so we'll see how this goes. And how you doing, Dalton?
I'm doing fine. I'm in the other room right beside you, so
Looks like you're in another universe.
yeah, I've been there too. So m most of my life. Yeah, we're just kicking this thing off, see where it goes. We both, follow a lot of podcasters on Twitter and really enjoy what they do. We're both huge Purdue fans, obviously, but there are plenty of Purdue only podcasts, so figured we would kind of figure out where we fit into everything. Um First few episodes are going to be rough till we iron everything out. But bear with us, and if you are watching, thank you for coming to the first one. So
Mucho gracias.
today we'll start out, I guess the things in the world. We're talking about life and everything. I guess huge assassination of one of our heroes. We'll just kick this right off. If you're
Hey, go hard in the paint, dude.
I mean, if you're not a Charlie Kirk fan, you're probably not gonna like us. So, let's just be honest. I'll try to keep it as sports driven as I can, but you know, both big fans of him. It sucks, dude. It really does. Always love seeing him in the feed.
Oh yeah, man. That we were just upstairs with our wives watching his wife talk very elegantly and beautifully about him and the legacy and how she plans on carrying that on. And not a lot of people know, you know, he had so much influence on a lot of people, but personally, he brought me to God, and for my whole life I denied it, and I wanted to fight back and think I knew everything and had to know everything. And between him and you, honestly, it really opened my eyes to opening my heart back up to that. And I said that to somebody that I knew the other day, and they said, "Well, then his purpose was served. If he got one person to go to God and to Jesus Christ, then that's enough." So,
Yeah,
super sad and super crazy. There's still obviously so many things we don't know about this, but I mean, just in my life, I know it's affected a lot of people, even all the way to my dad, who I didn't even have a clue knew who Charlie Kirk was. So it's been eye-opening, and I hope the world takes the right path, and it doesn't just create more violence and more hate and more division. I just hope we can move past it and everybody can kind of take a breath and go, what are we really doing? You know?
yeah. I think we need a good old reset here in the United States, man. I think just get back to basics. When
Yeah,
you
just get back to
overcomplicate things,
get back to
yeah,
cooking meats, watching sports.
yeah, hanging out with your family. I think that's where a lot of things go wrong is the
100%.
family dynamic has changed so much and everyone's out on their own island on their phone, or
Exactly.
when people don't come together enough. I don't know, that's just mine. I probably can't solve all the world's problems, but I've I've fixed a lot of things in my life over the years, so I know that's what helped me was just coming back to family, to God, and uh, just it it helps. It keeps you square, keeps you center. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think too, like you kind of mentioned it, but family's extremely important, whether it's a wife, whether it's your parents, whether it's a brother, whether it's your friends, whoever it is that you consider to be family. It's about spending time with them. But I think in today's world, we conflate spending time with someone to being in the same room as them. Separately together. We're on our phones. There's been times where I've sat next to my wife for 4 hours and haven't said a word, and that kind of stuff has to change, because it's really we pretend, and you might say, "Oh, I'm with my wife every day." Oh, well, but are you actually there? Is she there?
right.
Are you there for your kids, or do you tell them, leave me alone, or hey, I'm watching something, I'm doing something, so they go off and do the same thing, and now
Yeah.
you're setting a really bad precedent. So I hope that people kind of like I've heard multiple times over the last couple of days, put their phones down, step outside, touch grass. I tell my kids every day on the when I drop them off at school, you know, have a great day, have fun, be nice to people, and go make somebody happier than they were before they talk to you. And I know that they're kids and they roll their eyes at that stuff and say,
All right.
"Yeah, whatever, Dad." But one day, it'll kick in and they'll understand. So I
Yeah,
hope the world
and
takes that path.
yeah, it's good advice, man. It's like we all get caught up so much in what we have going and forget, a little empathy goes a long way with people. And you can look at somebody and you might think you know what they're going through right at that time, but you don't. Everybody's different. They were raised different, different beliefs, different core values, everything like that. So give people a little grace, man. God gives us all grace every day and then just blast the earth out of the universe. So, I mean,
Like you.
that's what I would do if I was God right now. Like, what are you guys doing down there?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Yeah, and this isn't meant to always be a political or a religious podcast or any of those things, but we're
No.
we're both. I'm newly religious, Dalton's religious, and with what's going on in the world, you kind of can't ignore it. And if you do, you're just hiding from it. So I think confronting it and talking about it, talking it's
Yeah.
what Charlie Kirk did. Talking about things and having discussions is what will get us through the tough
Right.
times. So
Yeah, I don't. Not at all. This is kind of a weird way to kick off a brand new sports podcast, but it's just what it is right now is a huge event in history. Like we've seen, political figures assassinate. We've hardly ever seen any in our lifetime.
right,
It almost seemed like unreal. Like Trump got shot at, obviously, but like it is crazy to witness that and the way it was witnessed. Is
absolutely,
blasted everywhere in your face. Like you couldn't help but to see it
yeah,
happen. I mean, that is crazy. It's like I don't think anyone ever witnessed MLK's assassination, and it was outside of people that were there.
right.
We've all seen the JFK, but that seems surreal. It was 50 years ago. This is crazy, man. There's kids on their phones. Guess what they're seeing?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So,
there's kids. My son's about to be 10. I mean, I know there's kids his age that have seen this. And it's the crazy thing is my dad was a firefighter for a long time. He's seen bad things. And um, right after this happened, I had to go play golf with him in a golf league. And it was the last match of the year. And I was talking to him and I was like, "Have you seen this video?" I was like, "If you don't want to, like, obviously don't." I was like, I had saved it so I could show my wife if she wanted to see it again. I made sure before I showed anybody that video that it was prefaced by you probably shouldn't see this. But my dad was like, yeah, and he was so taken back, and he's seen some bad stuff
all right.
through his years of doing firefighting, and it just shows you like we're not as human beings meant to process that. Like that's not something you're supposed to see, and then especially see repeatedly and in the scroll culture of, you go from that to cat video. It's like your brain is not meant to handle things that way. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are traumatized by watching that haven't even thought about dealing with what they saw, and
Right.
don't even know how it's affecting them.
Yeah, it's like almost dissociative at this point. Like it's a person behind a camera to them. Like a lot of
Yeah,
people I know feel that way. But if you are dealing with that, just, you know, talk to your family. If you don't have family, find a homie. If you're feeling crazy, there's people that can help. So, um, you got anything else on that?
last thing I'll say on it is just to quote Charlie Kirk, tell somebody about Jesus this weekend.
Hell
We're
yeah,
going
dude.
into a weekend, but from there we'll move on. We'll move on to sports. That's enough of the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's sports is entering a non-dead zone right now. We're just coming out of like a dead period. I call it the dead period. If you're a baseball fan, you're probably not going to enjoy listening to me. Derek knows he'll update you on baseball a little bit. I'm more of a football, basketball guy, obsess over that, and we'll discuss a little golf here and there. Derek's a huge golf fan, so. Do you want to take us through a quick baseball segment, just what's going on? Um,
Y- Yeah,
I mean, you can pull
it's
up stats if you need to, but
yeah. I mean, I follow baseball close enough, definitely through the lens of a Cubs fan, and through that division and whatnot. But it is the most important time of the year outside of the playoffs for baseball. Everybody's fighting for positioning, jockeying to make the playoffs. Um, so you've got a lot of teams that have pretty much already locked it up. You know, teams like the Tigers are 9 games up with 15 to play. Like they're going to be fine. The Phillies, the Brewers. There's a lot of teams that are pretty well locked, but you also have a lot of good races going on right now. If you're a fan of those, the Yankees and Red Sox are in a battle for the wild card, which is always exciting this time of year. The Mets are in a battle for a wild card. A lot of
really,
these, yeah, a lot of these high profile teams are probably going to make it in, but just by the skin of their teeth. And there's a whole new format this year in the playoffs. So it's going to be a little different.
what's it
I
look
guess,
like?
well, I mean, the playoff odds are kind of crazy. I mean, like most of the teams are going to make it. So, like you have, I'm going to try to see, like the, the Houston Astros, they've won a multiple World Series recently. They have like a 70% chance to make the playoffs right now, which seems
Yeah,
crazy because they've kind of dominated the MLB for the last 5 years, them and the Dodgers. Um, but like you have the Yankees, the Red Sox, both probably going to make it, but they might play each other in the first round. So there's still a ton, even though there's only 16 games left, there's still a lot to go. And there's still a lot of positioning that's going to happen. But again, to me, I always have said it's a 162 game season, which is insanely too long, in my opinion,
yeah.
because it goes to 162 games every year and it still comes down to tiebreakers. So could we do that in 90 games, 100 games? Probably.
I think so.
But it's fun. I mean, it's baseball. I always think baseball starts in October. Um,
Right.
that's when it becomes fun. That's if your team's on playoffs, like anything, it sucks. But it's like being a Purdue football fan for the last 10 years. So
I read one time I read Tony LaRusso's book, Three Nights in August. And like what you said is like, yeah, it's fun to watch. Everybody gets into it in October, but like the strategy that these general managers are going through, like during the season, it's crazy, man. I read that book in like ninth grade and I was like, oh man, because I love baseball. I played forever and I thought maybe that would be something I would want to do, like chase after that dream, but I don't know, man. The decisions they have to make, like, players are people, they have flaws and they do crazy shit too.
mhm.
It's like you never know, like if you have a Dennis Rodman like player on your team, like I guess baseball's culture is probably a little different, but yeah,
baseball's baseball's different because I mean, at least to me, 9 guys play, but you have a 25-man roster.
right,
Now some of those are pitchers, relievers, all this stuff, but and they call people up so often and they send them back down, and you're never guaranteed your spot. And it's a sport with essentially an unlimited salary cap. There is no cap. So you have teams like the Dodgers and Yankees spending $500 million a year, and then teams like the Athletics or the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the best division in baseball, that spend 100 million a year. So
right.
they have a fifth of the budget, yet they have the best record in baseball, which seems, in the NBA that would never happen. If you had all the money, you would win the NBA championship probably every year.
Yeah,
Um,
unless you're the Lakers.
Baseball is one of the weirdest sports out there when it comes to like what it takes to win, and it's such a long season that you can have a 2 month bad stretch like the Cubs just had, for instance, and they're still the fourth best record in baseball. And they had a very bad 2 month stretch. So I don't want to talk too much about baseball right now, just because there's so much up in the air and up for grabs. And I'm not, just to be candid, I'm just not fluent enough in everyone else. I'm a big diehard Cubs fan. I watch all the Cubs podcasts and everything, but
Right.
um, there's so much to keep track of in baseball and so many games and so much going on that I start really paying attention when the playoffs get here.
Yeah, I'll probably watch honestly then and we can dive more into that when it gets here. It's like I honestly just can't follow it during the regular season. It's like, dude, honestly, at this point in my life, with how short my attention span is, I have trouble watching a football game like through and through. I used to sit down and watch every play, try to pick apart defenses, whatever, see what they're doing. But now, I don't know, just the brain has shifted. Um, so Purdue, on to Purdue, actually, huge game against USC Saturday. Ross-Ade Stadium. We are at home versus Lincoln Riley USC. What are your top three things for Purdue to give them a chance to win this game?
Oh, good question. So just to be frank, I would say their chances to win the game are pretty low to begin with. And it's not necessarily that USC is that exceptional. It's just that Purdue's, we have a brand new coach. We have what, 54, 55 players that weren't there last year, going up against a pretty established program in USC with a very, you know, I mean, they're in a similar boat to that, but the talent differential is pretty significant. So I
Yeah.
would, for me, Purdue is, step one is, and I'm a believer in this, like because I see it with the Bears. I'm a Bears fan. Is special teams has to be perfect.
Oh yeah.
You cannot miss field goals. You cannot allow a kick return, a punt return. You've got to be perfect on special teams because it's one area of the game that's not their marquee players. It's not the 5 stars. It's not the 4 stars. It's the guys who are there for a role, and you have to really dominate. Not even dominate. You can't lose that battle.
Yeah, just don't make mistakes there.
Yeah, you have to be bulletproof on that part of the ball, because that's also been a Achilles heel of Purdue for a long time. I think also that would be point one. Point two would be, we've got to score 30 or more points, in my opinion. And to me, that means Ryan Brown has to be very, very good. And Maccabee's got to be good. We have to move the ball efficiently, not commit penalties. So to me, scoring 30 or more points is required in this game. And it might take more than that, to be honest, but at least that, if we score, say we score 31 and we lose 45 to 31, to
Mhm.
me, that's not a victory, but that is a small win. To go compete because last year, to be fair, we were non-competitive in almost every game we played. So that's what I want to see first and foremost is us to put up some points, to make it interesting, and to, just I think we can win the game, but I think it has to be a game where, the guys who on our team who we rely on are good.
Yeah,
And they don't no show. I think, what are we? We're 20, almost 21 point favorites, 20 and a half point favorites. The over under is 59 and a half. So
we're the
if we,
dogs.
yeah, if we score 30, um, you know, they would have to score, that if we score 30 and they beat us, we went over on the total, from
Right.
Vegas. So it's kind of where I'm at there. And then honestly, just do our best to get to their quarterback. That would be point three. I think I can't pronounce his name, but it's like Maeva. Uh,
Yeah, my
he, through 2 games, he's got 6 touchdowns and 700 yards passing. He's clearly what makes their ship sail. So that's a big deal. They have a receiver named Lemon that's pretty that's pretty good. And
Well,
he's
well,
he's gonna be, hopefully we can, make him feel a little sour, if you know what I'm saying.
get after him. You have
Yeah.
to, when you're in an underdog situation, you gotta put pressure on the quarterback. You have to throw blitzes at him. You have to mix up coverages. Like, because this guy's an NFL level quarterback. If he's playing for Lincoln Riley, I mean, he's an NFL, he's probably got scouts all over him. I haven't watched too much of USC. I did see they put up quite a lot of points,
Yeah.
most both games, but I mean, to be fair, college football has not been exciting yet. Like we've had the Notre Dame game that was exciting and maybe like one other one, you know.
Yeah,
It's
Alabama losing was exciting, but that's just
yeah,
because it was Alabama, losing.
right. It wasn't necessarily a good game. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. It's like I'm more of like a guy that I want to sit down and watch people battle, you know. I want to see a
Oh yeah,
blood sport.
51-48. Let me see it.
Yeah, I think if Maccabee goes over 100 yards rushing tomorrow, um, and Ryan Brown has less than 2 interceptions, I think we're in a good spot because he's got Branch and Tuggle came alive
Yeah,
last week, caught
and
his
has the
first
coolest name in
touchdown.
football.
Nitro Tuggle, dude. That's
Definitely the
that
coolest name in football.
that's pretty crazy. He was like a 4-star recruit, wasn't he? He went to Georgia or something.
Yeah, I think he came from Georgia. We
Yeah, I
have
think
actually weirdly quite a few guys who came from Georgia.
I mean, coach, he ain't playing around, dude. Odom is a G.
He
And
is.
you can see we're not making stupid penalties this year.
Yeah.
And the ones we are making, he is flipping his lid about.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that we lacked so much discipline last year. Like I don't care that we got our asses kicked, but just to have 12 penalties or 9 penalties in a
Uh,
game, dude, you just are not disciplined. What is that? It takes nothing to be disciplined. It's free.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
and
you're
there's a life lesson for y'all too.
absolutely.
Discipline is free, dude. So if you have an opportunity to be disciplined, do it. Purdue definitely needs to be disciplined tomorrow. Um, no dumb mistakes. If you do throw a pick, can't let it be a pick six. You have to make them beat you.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
because I love this team already. They show heart. They got dog in them. As Pat McAfee would say, they got that dog in them. But I I do think it's a tall task. Can it be done? I'd be stoked if they did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the timing of the game, with it being we've won our first two. We've already won more than last year, so props to
Yeah.
that. But um, following this game, we go to Notre Dame and then have Illinois, two top 10 teams currently.
Yeah.
So you just can't expect to win those. But after that, we have Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers. So, you know, win this game, show a little fight in the next two. And then you got three potentially winnable games after that. And you can have a decent season. Five,
Yeah.
6 win season this year is good.
Yeah.
Following a one and whatever we were, 10 or 11 last year, it was pretty miserable. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think the atmosphere is going to be awesome tomorrow. Though. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be rocking at Rossade, baby. And if you are down there for the game, be sure to stop by the discount den and see my sister Kylie and get you one of their weird sodas that somehow work. They are
Yeah.
delicious, but I don't know how people figured that out. You're some weirdos. Um, Next thing I want to talk about, Field of 68 was at Purdue today. Let's podcast about another podcast. I don't know. What was your takeaway? I was listening in. Really liked Braden's interview. I mean, it was a typical Braden interview. Um, he kind of got he was a little cocky to him. I mean, that's just him, man.
I
Um,
I did. He seemed a little better spoken than I remember him being the last few years. He's always kind of been a little choppy. Um, he was pretty smooth. Like I think he's gained, and he talked about leadership, and I think he's gained some confidence from being that leader and from getting these awards last year and doing it without Edie. And it just feels like he's less burdened. He just feels more free. Like,
yeah.
and I think that's huge. And did you get to see Fletch's? I know you hopped on it a little late.
No, I saw the very end of it and I got a work related phone call during it, so
He
did not.
was he didn't say a lot, honestly, but like as far as like what really matters, but he was very funny. I thought his was a funny part of the podcast. He's always cracking jokes,
Oh
making
yeah.
fun of Painter for being a Cubs fan, making fun of Braden for being bad at 2K.
Yeah.
It's just he's just one of those guys that you watch him talk and you listen to him, and you're like, man, he'd be a fun guy to hang out with. You
Oh,
know,
I
he
guarantee it, man.
he just seems like one of them dudes. But
I like
I really like overview though, overarching, I guess. I liked other than Goodman asks a couple dumb questions every once in a while, but I liked Um, the approach by Field of 68, I'm not a huge fan of them a lot of the times because of I feel like they're very biased towards the Big East and UConn and those guys, but they were awesome about it and they were very praiseful of Purdue. And I liked that all the Purdue players had pretty much the same message. Like, we're here to win a title. They all had the same message about each other.
Yeah.
He asked them all about Omer Meyer. They all basically said the same thing. He's awesome. He's going to be helpful. He's not there yet because he hasn't learned the system yet, but he's going to. Um, and I think that just the unity of Purdue from being together, it was Trey Covenant, Lawyer, and Braden, and they've been together so long now that their answers are the same. I mean, they've
Right.
been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they've been painted into this is what we're after. This is who we are. This is what we're about. And their praise for Painter and Purdue's program is just it's really cool to hear and really cool to be a fan of that program.
Yeah, the core values are drilled deep into those brains. I mean, they all did say a lot of the same things, and I'm excited I think a lot of people are sleeping on TKR again.
Yeah.
You're dumb. You're you're idiots. Like this, like if you saw what he did last year with like, don't get me wrong, I love Caleb Pierce. Loved him for 4 years. But it's like my younger brother type of love. Like I want to punch him sometimes. You
A
know,
lot
it's
of the
like
time.
I did. Yeah, like I'm like, what are you? You're a senior, dude. Why are you missing defensive assignments? Like now with Clough and Jacobson, like good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, dude. We're gonna foul your whole freaking front court out, dude.
That's what I love. People talking about Clough and Jacobson, and then it's like, oh, but also TKR initiated more fouls than anyone in the country last year.
Yeah,
So and you if you didn't see Fletch's, he says at one point in there, they ask him about how's the defense looking. Is that going to be your biggest issue? And he goes, well, our biggest issue right now is we can't stop Trey. You know,
yeah,
and he's probably like that. I think Trey's going to play that four and a little bit more of an athletic version. Not back to the basket, more facing and then around people, which he
yep,
started doing at the end of last year. And then once he starts doing that, because people don't realize because he couldn't last year. Um, he didn't pass as much last year, but he's an excellent passer. And I
yep,
think that people are going to see this year that he is a lot more NBA style and ready than people think he is. And he mentioned
yeah.
that today, wanting to make it to the NBA. That's a dream of his, and he still wants to do it, and he thinks he can. And I think he can. I think you're going to see a different version of him this year, and it's going to shock some people who think it's just going to be like last year.
When him and Braden ran the reverse pick and roll last
Oh
year,
God,
when he would go up high and Braden would hand it off, and he would just get downhill on you, and he's got the floater. I mean, the best defense in the country couldn't stop it last year. That's Houston.
yeah,
If you go back and watch that game, and out of three, because I've been seeing a lot of footage of him shooting threes. You add that confident. He's shot. I mean, he shot at Sellersburg when he played there. He would pull up. You add that confident 3-point shot back in. What are you gonna do? What do
yeah. Then
you
he
do? I
you don't
mean,
you just hope he misses.
he'll put you in a spin cycle, and then you got DJ who's 7'3". They said he's draining threes.
Yeah,
I mean,
TKR said that today. He said he's going to make a
yeah,
lot of threes for us.
yeah. I mean,
I was like, huh?
you're pulling your five out, and you're gonna put a four on TKR.
Well, that's the thing, and you can't double him
That's
because what
hilarious.
they're going to kick it out to Fletcher, CJ, Omer, Braden, all these guys that are knockdown shooters. What do
Jakari.
you Jakari?
Yep.
Even Antoine West has looked great if he gets in the game. Jack Benner, all these guys can light it up, and you're
Yeah.
going to try to double. And even if you double him, you got Clough and DJ in the dunker spot. You just throw it over the top. It's a
Yeah.
layup. That's a
Fluff's
dunk.
nasty too.
I know.
He
I don't.
he looks like he rolls around outside, dude. To me, he looks like a guy that just would work on your farm, and
Yeah,
he'd
like
probably outwork you.
he's got a flannel and an axe somewhere at his house.
Yeah, and a cowboy hat, dude. He wears Tacovas. You
He's
don't.
they're already calling that they were talking about it today, the Bash brothers, him and TKR. Which is funny, just showing my age a little bit because they were talking about, and he said, you know who they are? TKR's like, I have no idea who the Bash Brothers are.
Oh yeah.
And in my head, I'm going Mighty Ducks, Mighty
The
Ducks.
Ducks.
But then Goodman goes, no, no it's Mark McGuire and the other guy that played for the Oakland A's back then, because they were called the Bash Brothers.
See, I don't remember that, man.
I didn't either, and I was like, I looked it up, and they were called that. But I still think the Mighty Ducks was before that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm a
Yeah,
Mighty Ducks
yeah.
advocate.
That was Mark McGuire was I would say it was probably the
90s.
same time, man, early 90s. Him playing
Yeah,
for the A's.
did they take it from Mighty Ducks or did Mighty Ducks take it from them? I'm a Mighty Ducks advocate. I'm sticking with it.
It's a good question, man. It's like the chicken or the egg for real type of deal. But
I know one side didn't use steroids and one did.
yeah, we have 9 minutes left. Let's go into quick topic.
Okay.
1 minute. I'll give you a topic. You run through 1 minute. You
I'll
may
do my
not even
best.
know what these are, dude. So try to make a minute. This is
All
gonna
right.
be a good time. All right. So Fresno State. There's a betting scandal.
Oh,
Um, three players betting, and also throwing games. Give us your thoughts. I know I
well,
just dropped this on you.
I mean, let's be nobody cares about Fresno State, if we're being honest. That's my thought. So let them throw the games, let the kids make a little money. They're probably not getting a lot of NIL. But in all seriousness, it's the biggest problem with sports betting is that it enters into this always is going to happen because where there is sports betting, there will be people trying to manipulate the system because they can get a huge payday, or they're being, if you go back to the stuff that happened in the 90s, I'm blanking on the team right now. But the mob was running this and they were threatening to kill kids that were on the team if they didn't throw the game because they had so much money riding on it. Where there is money, there will be problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got caught. I think it happens way more than people know, especially in professional sports. Um, but I think that sports betting, player prop betting, is maybe the most dangerous thing to sports long term.
Yep.
End of minute.
There it goes. Right on it. Good
Oh, really?
job.
I
Man,
was
for just hearing that subject, you did well there. Next subject for the 1 minute rundown. Tyreek Hill and domestic violence in the NFL. Ready, set, go.
Tyreek Hill seems to have a history of getting himself into trouble. I have never really been a big Tyreek Hill fan. But that being said, domestic violence obviously bad. Um, Tyreek Hill should never play another game in the NFL. They should take his jerseys off the shelves. In my opinion, not just him, but anybody, especially in the world, but especially in pro sports that does that on a public, to be viewed by the public, should be reprimanded and never be able to set foot again. I think that the NFL especially is one of the worst professional sports leagues at allowing someone in their league to do something bad and then forgiving it and letting them come back. There's certain things that are unforgivable. That's one of them to me. And I'd rather not even talk about him ever again.
All right. No more Tyreek Hill on the Double D podcast. You heard it here on the first episode. I'd say the next subject for 1 minute, the Kawhi Leonard scandal, bro. What is going on here? Have you seen the
But
memes
I've seen the memes.
where he's like wearing a hard hat and it
Yeah, every time I see him though, I can't help but think of the Kawhi Leonard crying memes.
where he's
Which
I don't even know where you're at.
yeah, and some of his interviews where he might be one of the, with all due respect, dumbest people I've ever heard talk publicly.
He's
It's
hilarious.
but it's so funny. I don't know if it's a bit or if that's just who he is.
I don't
Um,
know, man.
Either way, this thing's crazy because my thought is, was this his idea or was it the organization's idea? Who was like, hey, let's basically create a shell company so we can pay you more, but we can't pay you more because of who we have already. Crazy, crazy stuff going on. I bet this happens a lot more than we know.
Oh yeah.
Uh, a lot more than we know because some of these teams, it's like, oh, this guy's taking a pay cut. No, why would he do that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is their job. They're like, this isn't college basketball, which now is the same thing. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's my take on it. I think it happens a lot more, and I think Kawhi Leonard was probably honestly just a little too dumb to notice.
Yeah, he probably was like, "Yeah, I'll start a tree company.
Yeah, I like trees.
That sounds cool. I see him every day."
Yeah, I got a chainsaw at home.
Yeah, I used to climb them. Anyways, so I'll give you the last. Do you have the timer up on top? If you
No.
look at the very top of the screen, if you move your mouse, it may show it to you.
Oh, remaining
Says it
time. Yeah, I
remain.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll give you two till 1 minute. Go off. Ryder Cup. Everything. Fast as you
Oh,
can.
everything on
Break
the
it
Ryder Cup.
break it down
I
for everybody. What is it? How's it work?
So golf is what most people know of as a boring sport. No teams, just you out there playing the golf course. It takes 100 hours, and nobody would want to sit down and watch that. The Ryder Cup is the opposite. Think of, if you know anything about live golf, think of live golf on steroids. It is, if you've never watched the Ryder Cup, this should be your first year because it's at Bethpage Black, which is a golf course in New York City. The captain of the team is from New York City. The fans of New York are insane. They've had it there before, and it's absolutely a riot. It's one of the few times you'll see golfers team up. So you'll have teams of two facing another team of two. It's the United States versus all of Europe. The 12 best players from each. Well, I guess Europe is a continent, but all of Europe, 12 best, all of the United States, 12 best. And it is different than anything you'll ever see in golf. There's only four matches going on at a time, so you really become invested in these matches. The players, there's guys that never show emotion that will be screaming and yelling and fist bumping. And a couple years ago, they were shotgunning beers on the first tee. I'm telling you, it's like nothing you've ever seen in golf. And even if you're not a golf fan, but you're a sports fan and you're a fan of your country, and you know, I watch curling in the Olympics because it's the United States. I watch swimming where I don't ever watch swimming. I don't ever watch track, but I do there. And I think that if you're going to ever watch golf, this is the thing you want to watch. It's the most exciting, it's the most patriotic, and it's the best thing to for you to understand how important it is for these guys. Almost all of them have been interviewed saying that this is bigger than a major, bigger than like a Masters or which would be like their Super Bowl. This is the preeminent thing in golf. It only happens every 2 years. It only comes to the United States every 4 years because they alternate. And it's something that it's 3 days long and I would watch it. And if you've never watched it, give it 30 minutes of your time, and I would assume you'll watch more.
Who's winning this year? Let's hear predictions.
I think you want my heart or my gut?
I want both. I want it all. What
My my
is what
heart,
is
my
the
heart,
breakdown?
my heart is America. I think we have the best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, and we have a lot of great other players who aren't maybe the names that we're used to, but they're really good golfers. My gut says Europe because they have the stars. It's kind of flipped from normal. Europe has the stars, America has the steady eddies and the best player in the world. And to me, you know, I'll be pulling with every ounce of my body for the United States, but it I would not be surprised if we don't win it. But in New York, as my dad says, we aren't losing.
Right on. You heard it here first. America for the cup.
I'm
We
gonna
have
my final score prediction 16 and a half to 12.
okay.
You'll
16
figure
and
out
a
what
half
that
to
means if
12.
you
You
watch.
got it. I will be watching. Last minute closing thoughts. You got 10 seconds. Go.
I think that sports is finally hitting its go zone, and take the negativity that's been going on in the world and put that behind you and be happy, love your family, love everyone around you.
Amen. My closing thoughts. This world's a crazy place. Hug your family. It's the same message. Sports are back, baby. We're 50 days out from college basketball. We got college football. Um, just get out and have fun, dude. Be safe. Until next time, thanks for checking out the first episode of the Double D Sportscast. This will be once a week, and we can't wait to